Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? I just wanted to quickly hop on and do a live about a specific situation that just unfolded about 2 days ago. Now, I don't really understand the hype because I've never been a fan of TikTok, but there's a lot of people who enjoy this platform, and everyone has their own different idea of what is suitable for them. But we have a situation that turned grim all of a sudden. And I just don't understand why people can't move in silence. When there is a very distressing situation taking place, the last thing you ever want to do, regardless whether you're male or female, you don't want to be petty. You don't want to be petty. You need to put your pettiness aside because eventually you're going to put yourself in a very unfortunate situation. And I'm not here to say this is her fault or anything. I just look at it objectively. And I know a lot of people might think differently. They might think, well, he did this to her, and he did. And if he was still alive and he didn't pass away at the hospital, then he would have deserved a life sentence. That's not even my argument. But what I want to say is that sometimes you just have to take a step back. And I know that's easier said than done. We can all end up making this mistake. This is not just about the specific person I'm about to discuss. This is just in general. You want to be careful not to let the pettiness boil over because eventually we have to look at it from a rational perspective. It doesn't make his actions against her right, but if you have the power to protect your peace and protect yourself from any harm, then I suggest you take that into consideration when you're making this type of decision. Essentially, we're talking about a TikTok influencer. She was about 43 years old. Her name was, I believe it was Sarah Duffey. She's a TikTok influencer. Hopefully, I got her name right. I know it's Duffy, but I don't know if it's Sarah. I believe it's Sarah Duffey. And she goes by another name as well. But she passed away about 2 days ago, if I'm correct. And it's such a tragedy that she lost her life as a result of a TikTok trend. Now, I could sit here and blame the TikTok trend for what ultimately happened to her, but she didn't really make it any easier on herself because she willingly created a TikTok. She has a following. Why would you put a man? Why would you expect? This isn't even about the man being right. Obviously, there's something about allegedly Jeremiah Duffy had a secret relationship with a minor, and it's just so disturbing because he's her coach. And apparently, it went all the way south because he started to engage with this minor. I believe he may have even allegedly taken her to a hotel as well. Just messy, just very messy across the board. And I understand why the estranged wife no long, let's say she didn't want to associate with him anymore. She had every right to move on because he was wrong and he was completely foul for taking advantage of a minor. I mean, dude, where is your head at? Because clearly it's your dingling making your decisions for you, especially at your big age, 48 years old. Why are you messing with someone who's 14 or 15 years old? Like, what is this? It's just a complete mess. It's a complete mess. And the worst part about this story is why couldn't you just leave it alone? Like, report him to the authorities and just let them take care of it. But why, knowing that you have a restraining order, which she had a restraining order at, believe it was around June, she placed a restraining order on him. We know restraining orders can only go so far, but you've placed a restraining order because this situation, I don't know if this was the specific situation that made you get the restraining order against him. Nevertheless, why would you put yourself in harm's way? And a lot of people say, well, isn't that victim blaming? No, it's not victim blaming. Victim blaming is saying that it was all her fault, right? But it's not her fault. I mean, she had every right to move on, and I completely side with her for wanting to move on. The problem is when you do a TikTok trend, and then on top of it, you bring up your husband in the TikTok trend. Why would you like? And it was a Netflix trend, like basically, whose life would end in a documentary, and she basically alluded that it would be her husband because her husband ended up messing with a minor, and it is a very bad situation, and I feel bad for that minor. But why would you make it into a TikTok? Which she has a following. She's popular. It's going to get traction. But why put it out there for everyone to see? Because eventually, this TikTok video was, I believe, posted on July 11th. And then 12 days later, which would be the 23rd of this month, which was 2 days ago, he goes and shoots her. Point blank, he just shoots her. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is why you have to move in silence. And this isn't even just about gender. You could be male or female. At some point, you have to move in silence. You can't go to social media and broadcast your pettiness to the whole world. Because especially if you're going through a serious situation such as divorcing this man, I don't know exactly the in and outs. It sounds to me as if their relationship was going straight into Splitsville. If your relationship is that sour, why make it even worse by going on social media and posting this for everyone to see? Oh, hi, how are you? How's your day? It's pretty hot outside, goodness gracious. It's like in the high 90s today. Well, actually, no, it's in almost 90. I'm doing good. I, I decided to do a live and I'm showing my face today. I'm just showing my face today. Uh, but again, this is a very tragic situation. What happened to Sarah Duffey? This a TikTok influencer passed away because of a TikTok reel where she basically said that whose life would end up in a Netflix documentary. This was apparently a popular trend, and she alluded her husband would end up in a Netflix documentary. And that resulted in her losing her life 2 days ago. It's just, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's a sad situation across the board. We just have to be mindful that not everything needs to be broadcasted. I know it's an urge. And again, anybody could make this mistake, not just her, anybody, male or female. But the bottom line is when you're in a situation, especially divorce, anything can happen. A person might not be right in their faculties and they might react, and it may end up, in some cases, costing you your life. This is why it's important to move in silence. Put the ego aside, put the pettiness aside. Do not broadcast any issues surrounding people you know, especially when there might be bad blood, because it's going like, look what happened. She posted this, and it's not about awareness. Awareness is important, but so is your safety. Your safety. Now you're no longer here, and you have two kids who have no mother. And of course, maybe he would have still taken that drastic turn of events, and maybe he would have ended up doing the exact same thing he did, whether or not she posted the TikTok reel. But the bottom line is she had she had power to influence the situation. She didn't need to post the TikTok reel because what did it gain? What did she gain from posting it? She gained nothing. She lost her life. A lot of people might think, well, why are you blaming her for losing her life? I'm not blaming her specifically as a person. I'm blaming her decision, what she ended up doing that day, because that's what costed her life. It's that simple. If I did that and someone made fun of me or not made fun of me, but judged me for making that decision, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad because it's the truth. The problem is we need to put anything that we have going on to the wayside, and that's it. Make it easier on ourselves. Don't put anything on social media that could end up risking your life, especially when you're going through a divorce. It's just, that's when you really have to be very mindful of what you're going to do next, because it could end up costing you. And then the man in question, Jeremiah Duffey, he ended up shooting himself too. So it's just like, I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for her too, but most of all, I feel bad for the kids because now, because their mom wanted to do a TikTok trend, they no longer have access to their mother. And this is why, folks, we need to really stop making everything public. Not every private situation should be turned into a public situation, because that is when you're literally willing to bet with your life. And it's not a bet anybody should take, because chances are you're just going to be playing a game of Russian roulette, and you're going to be the one losing at the end of at the end of the story. It's just not worth it. Be an advocate in different ways, but do not shame someone you are estranged with, because you don't know what that person's capable of. You don't know if they're at their wits' end, where they're just, because even if you look back, and I read this, and this is why I'm being a little bit harsh on the whole posting everything on TikTok, because when she got that restraining order on him, she already knew he was suicidal. He even threatened it. Apparently, she confronted him and he threatened that he would commit S. So if all of that ends up being true, then you already know this man he wasn't good up here at all. And then almost a month later, or however many weeks after that, after you served him that restraining order, then you go on TikTok and follow a trend that ended up costing your life. You knew before that TikTok that this man was losing his marbles. But now you post it on TikTok 2, 3 weeks later and it goes viral. And it's like, why do we need to make our everyday life into a viral moment? This is what ended up costing her life. Now, can I say for a fact that he would have still done it? Chances are he could have still done it. But the bottom line is she had the power to influence that situation. She had the power to not post the TikTok reel. And chances are she still could have been alive. She still could have been with her kids. And now her kids have to pay the price for her decision that day to post that TikTok reel. A lot of people might say, well, that's just blaming her. What about him? He should be held accountable. Absolutely, he should be held accountable. But two things can be true at the same time. He was wrong for shooting her, and he should have never shot her. But she was wrong for posting it, because what that did is it gave him an incentive to take her life and then take his life. And you got to play your cards right. And the problem is people nowadays, they want to make every situation in their regular lives a viral moment. And they think that basically if you question them for it, if you tell them they're wrong for doing it, then that automatically makes you wrong. It's not. It's about, hey, just because you like to be on social media and post everything about your private life doesn't mean you have to include me or anyone else. That's it. It's about being mindful that, hey, it's cool. It's a trendy moment, right? But you might have bad blood. The person you're doing this to might have bad blood for you. And it's like you're basically giving them the key, like you're giving them the rights to do as they please the moment you post that video on TikTok. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And then I'm seeing people on different platforms saying, oh, it's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. Well, we need to start holding each other responsible. You put private matters into social media, it is your fault too. It is your fault because it's your account. You posted it. And now look what happened. You left I don't know the genders of her kids, two children without a mother, all for a viral moment. And you knew before you posted that TikTok video or reel or whatever you call it, you knew that this man was unhinged. You knew that this guy even said allegedly that he was going to commit S. You had all of this information, and yet you still went against it by posting the video. I'm not saying he should have done it, but we have to look at the situation as a whole, not what we think is convenient for us or whatever narrative we want to push. Yeah, yeah. I'm George. You're absolutely right. Everyone is looking for a moment. And the problem is people think it's innocent, it's fun, or, they think it's her account. She can do as she please. Yes. But some people are not going to be, they're not going to take it to the chin. Some people are going to take it personally and they're just going to pull their gun and they're just not going to think straight once they shoot their target. That's just how people are these days. People these days have just lost the plot completely. They've just lost their marbles. They don't think straight anymore. Once you cause someone to react, whether it was indirectly or directly, they make that as their excuse. And then once they do something to you, they say, well, you know what? Oh, mental health issues, which is bogus because not everything is a mental health issue. It's just you didn't know how to control yourself and you took out your aggression. But sometimes we got to learn not to light up the wick, if you will. Like, do not lit up that dynamite that might end up exploding in your face for a viral moment. This probably could have been prevented altogether if she did not post this TikTok. Because what was the purpose of it? What was the purpose of it? The purpose of it, there are people saying that she did this TikTok to advocate for who? She didn't advocate for anybody. She didn't advocate for anybody. She turned this into a viral moment for clicks and views. And a lot of people are saying that she was advocating for someone. She wasn't advocating for anything. She was feeling upset and in her feelings, which is her right. But then she used that energy from her feelings because she was so upset with her estranged husband, and she used that for a viral moment. And we're not willing to call it for what it actually is, which is just terrible. But again, I feel bad for her, and rest in peace to her. I'm not going to sit here and say she deserved it. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes this is why you keep private matters private, because once you turn it into a viral moment, you're giving that person ammo to do as they please. And she knew that this guy he had a screw loose or two. That's why she did the restraining order. But why couldn't you just keep that same energy? Like, keep yourself distant from him. Do not mention his name. Why make it into a TikTok moment? And the problem is, all it takes is common sense. But every time you try to apply common sense, people try to distort your common sense, and they try to say, "Oh, are you saying he had every right to do that to her?" No, I'm not saying he had any right to do it. That was a that was a very POS move on his behalf. But what I'm saying is, you don't make a tense situation worse, because you're literally stoking the flames, and you don't know what that person is capable once they reach their wits end. Not everyone is going to look at the video and walk away. Some people are going to take extra measures, and they are going to seek revenge. Some people are wired that way. And sometimes you have to pick and choose your battles wisely. This isn't to say she deserved it, but I'm not going to overlook the fact that if she didn't post that TikTok, she probably would still be here. And her kids wouldn't have to go through this traumatic experience of living life without their mother. That's basically it. I don't I don't get into this. I'm not a one trick pony where I just follow one um logical point of view and I stick with it. I try to look at the whole situation. And while he was wrong for definitely shooting her and for messing with that minor, which is allegedly, right? Because we don't know everything about the case, but I'm going off what I've seen. He was messed up for doing it. And the fact that he ended up paying money as well to keep the minor quiet, that is just all types of messed up behavior. But I'm just gonna basically say, don't this should be a lesson. This situation should be a lesson. Just because you feel upset with someone, especially if you're going through a difficult breakup, that let's say it's just marriage, which is the worst type of breakup you can have with someone. Do not turn your pettiness into a moment that you can record on TikTok, because that is ultimately going to potentially going to cost your life. It ain't worth it. The clicks and views aren't worth it. In the moment, they are, but once the consequences apply, you realize you never really had to go that far. You never really had to record yourself and follow a trend that ultimately costed your life. It doesn't make sense. But for some people, when you point this out, they just want to think that, oh, you're being insensitive or you're being victim shaming. No, victim shaming, nothing. It's the truth. You should not, when you're in a serious pickle with someone, the last thing you want to do is match that gas with, like you don't want to pour gas into an open flame. You don't want to do it because it's just going to make the flame burn more intensely. Like, it's just, I don't get people sometimes and their train of thought. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's cube, but you don't have the correct tiles to match the cube completely. This is just how people's minds work nowadays, and it just completely bewilders me. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents. It's a very sad situation. I feel bad for her kids. Hopefully, they get the support they need through this difficult transition. And just this is just a reminder for everyone who does TikTok or any other sort of social media influencing. Like being an influencer is not always good because you create this mindset as an influencer that I need to post everything that goes right or wrong in my life on a daily basis. And that's just not a good idea. But I just thought I'd wait in and give my 2 cents. I should be releasing a video most likely tomorrow. It's very important. Go ahead and watch that one. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.